Greetings from the channel, Dr. Victor Fursov, entomologist, beekeeper teacher. And today we have direct stream, online stream, on air stream. Just online we can communicate all together. We can switch on some questions from audience, and hopefully we can discuss some interesting questions. Today's stream is devoted to insects. My channel is about insects, beekeeping and entomology. So far so good. Visit my channel and watch different videos about insects. Just I make some manipulation online. Yes. Just to switch on computer too. Hello friends. Join our channel. Today we will be talking about insects and entomology. I'm just making some manipulation with computer to be sure what's going on. Switch on my channel on computer, on smartphone, write your questions. I can see your questions and can answer for your questions as well. So this is some advertisement. Right. Okay. Hello, wild nature. Wild nature, you are speaking Russian and Ukrainian as well, or you can speak English. So can you understand my English? Also, we can discuss in other languages. Actually, we have not met for a long time. Today we have stream about insects, about entomology, about beekeeping, about hornets keeping. Hello, Tarbot. Best greetings. Yes, wild nature. So, right. You're watching me just from Ukraine. What city are you watching me from? Write in comments your city if you are just in Ukraine or you are watching me from abroad. Or if you are from Northern Territories. Write Northern Territories, you know, so you can understand what I mean. Today we'll be talking about hornets. Hornets, yes. No, that's vice versa. Wasp and hornets. Is it interesting questions? Is it interesting point to discuss? I hope so. Wild nature didn't write the name. Якщо ви нас дивитесь з України, можете надрукувати на своєму смартфоні або на комп'ютері, з якого міста ви нас дивитесь. If you are watching us from abroad, write in comments or in chat what place are you watching us. What city or just the country. Just for interest and for curiosity. Today we'll be watching collection. Dead insects in collection. Dead hornets. And we can discuss about hornets because this is a problem in Europe. Right, yes. Very nice. So, have you ever seen hornets near your home, near your apartment, near your building, or just near your house in your city? Actually, it's not so easy to see it in a city. I'm living in a big city of Kyiv, capital of Ukraine, and for us, not always so easy to find, to see, and to observe hornets in city. It depends from year to year. Good. If somebody is watching us and just taking a video about nature, very good idea. Якщо нас дивитесь, а также знімаєте різне відео про природу, про бджільництво, про ентомологію, можемо скооперуватися, можемо зробити сумісний стрим. You will be here on one part of screen, and I will be here on another part of screen. Because the computer and also just smartphone has a special feature, mutual stream. So it can be fun to make stream all together, because I did some streams between different countries and it's actually quite funny, quite entertaining and interesting. Like I did streams between Ukraine and Turkish Republic, Ukraine and Indonesia, Ukraine and France, Ukraine and Britain. Yes, in Ukraine and the United States. Right. Someone else watching us from Kyiv region. Great, Alexander. Today we'll be talking about hornets. This is hornet. What do you know what species is this? Each hornet has a special name, scientific name. Hello, Maxim. Scientific name which was invented by Carl Linnaeus, and this name of this species, Vespa crabro, European species of hornets, your European hornet, quite common one, despite it's sometimes quite rare, especially in a city. I have seen them a lot, maybe 2 years ago, near my apartment building. But last year it was not so many of them, because 2 years ago I observed them just on shrub, on lilac. Some workers of hornets were coming to shrub, we were cutting a stalk of some plants and were leaking juice from lilac, very surprisingly. So hornets were hunting for insects, were hunting for invertebrates, were predators. This one, adults, were hunting for different insects, were making kind of meat, and were bringing this meat to feed the larvae here. Larvae are living here in this nest. This is just a part of nest with, I guess, probably with a queen inside. Oh, I'm not quite sure, because I have here males and big queen. Hello, drawers. Welcome to join our channel. Welcome to subscribe. Welcome to join our sponsorship page. Today we'll be discussing about hornets. Why about hornets? Because many people, hello drawer, many people send me messages that they've seen hornets in their apiaries in Ukraine. And I showed in my previous videos some hornets which are invasive species. I showed this one, small Asian hornet, Vespa velutina. I show it to you later, because I cannot open this one because it's under the screen. But I open this another one. So some our beekeepers were discussing and said, I have seen this strange invasive species, small Asian hornet, in our apiaries. But I said, please send me a specimen, send me a dead or just in alcohol specimen of hornet, and I will tell you this is invasive species or this is just European species. This one species is named Vespa velutina. Vespa velutina, which is invasive species in Europe and came to Europe from Southeast Asia. You can recognize even from here or from close distance. You see, this species, Vespa crabra, is yellow or more or less brown colored. And Vespa velutina is black one with yellow stripes. And some subspecies just have been designated with this species. Subspecies is Vespa velutina nigrothorax, with black thorax and black head. Sometimes head can be brown and yellow spots, but in most parts black one. And this is dangerous invasive species which has completely occupied France, Spain, already in Belgium have been recorded in North Italy, in islands of Greece, and even just in half of part of Germany up to the city Frankfurt. And also this species invaded Britain, United Kingdom. And there are some registrations maybe in Romania, but unconfirmed. So according to scientific literature, with predictions of distribution of this species, it's predicted that species can be slowly distributed all around Europe. This unpleasant species, not this one. This Vespa crabber is even under protection in Germany. But this one is coming from France to Belgium to Luxembourg to Italy, then to Germany, and maybe next steps can be to Poland, Romania, Czechia, Slovakia, Ukraine, and other northern territories. And northern territories will not be excluded. Yes, this species, small Asian hornet, Vespa velutina, dangerous invasive species. You can say, how do they live? And where do they live? These species, hornets, they are just social insects, social wasps. When we are talking about wasps belonging to the order Hymenoptera. And Hymenoptera includes two parts. Just Hymenoptera aculeata, stinging insects, and Hymenoptera parasitica. Parasitica, these are parasitoids, from tiny parasitoids up to the biggest. I have some parasitoids with me. Some parasitoids, quite big one, like that. These big parasitoids, parasitic wasps. They're parasitoids of horntail wasps living under the bark of trees. And they're quite a big one. This one belonging to the genus Megarissa. I collected them in the first year of war in Ukraine in 2024, just on a birch tree near my apartment. Yes, it was shooting of cannons all around the city, and I collected this one after shooting, by the way. But fortunately, shooting just completed before the middle of March, so I am just wrong. I collected them just probably in April, after shooting. But situation was still difficult, especially in the first year of war. And now we have just fourth year of war, by the way. And there is a shooting in some other cities in the front line of Ukraine. And today, by the way, I am pleased to say I can talk with you about insects more or less freely, just for entertaining you and for educational purpose, to show you predaceous wasps, parasitic wasps. Predaceous wasps, Hymenoptera aculeata, and parasitic Hymenoptera parasitica. Thank you for sending me likes. Thank you for sending hearts. We're just jumping here. Thank you very much. And by the way, today we have in Ukraine special day, by the way, for scientists. I was surprised my friends sent me. Today we have Day of Science in Ukraine. Day of Science. That's why I did this stream. That's why I started this stream, by the way. Don't miss the Day of Science in Ukraine. Thank you very much for support, Alexander. By the way, because we need to support science in Ukraine. We need to enjoy science in Ukraine. And we need to raise the quality of science in Ukraine as well. Not only the quality of science abroad somewhere on the east, or abroad on the west, or somewhere on the south. not on the north. North is just prohibited place. North territory is just for some strange people only. But by the way, some Ukrainian scientists now very fruitfully working. Where? Abroad on the east, and on the west. Because some of them just find interesting and very sweet place somewhere abroad. So they are lucky to be somewhere in Lisbon, in Portugal, in Spain, in France, in Germany, in Poland, in Turkish Republic, in United States of America, in Canada. So we're lucky to celebrate Day of Science in Ukraine from abroad. That's why I started my stream today to celebrate Day of Science in Ukraine, just to entertain you and to give you a little bit more knowledge about insects. The insects, they are playing crucial role, very important role in the life of humans, in the life of animals, in the life of plants and ecological systems. And why we're going to talk today about hornets? Because hornets were predaceous insects, as I said. Some species became invasive, and they came from other territories to new territories. So we say invasive species if they have not been recorded here before, and they came from their native origin place to new place, and they distributed widely. So this species, Vespa velutina nigrothorax, is invasive species. This species came from Southeast Asia, from China, from Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia. These are natives. India, these are natives place for their native brothers and sisters, by the way, for these different subspecies. About 8 or 9 subspecies of this species, Vespa velutina, has been recorded in Southeast Asia, and one species, Vespa velutina nigrothorax, came to France, to Marseille, to South France, more than 10 years ago, and now it's completely covered with this species, occupied, invaded from south to east and even to the west up to the Portugal. This species has been recorded even in Spain and in Portugal. And some new species of hornets are coming. Yes, in Europe we have this Vespa crabra species, European hornet. But one another species of hornets, Vespa soror, sounds like Vespa horror, or murder horror, or horror Vespa. So Latin name, Vespa horror, Vespa not horror, so soror, Vespa soror. This species has been recorded in Spain as also second species which came to South Europe from Southeast Asia, but this species is just in small number, only in Spain. But who knows, maybe it will be distributed in all around Spain as more adapted to southern and warm territories, and especially during the climate change, more adapted than others. Because usually invasive species has a great danger for native population, because it usually happens that invasive species becoming more adaptable to new territories. And if there is no predators which can limit their number, the invasive species spreading widely all around the new territory. And third species as well also has been recorded in France, and this is Vespa orientalis. I have seen Vespa orientalis myself in Turkish Republic in Muğla during beekeeping congress in Muğla in Turkish Republic. They came just from somewhere from the forest. When they came near to the sea, to the water from the pipe, we were licking a little bit fresh water from the pipe, not water from the sea. Sea is salted, So we were leaking water from the pipe, which was connected with between conference hall and just sea. I don't know why. So this species has the same size as Vespa crabra, but more yellowish, very yellow. Thank you, Bluebird, for coming. Today I'm doing well. Today we are talking about hornets and about collections, about insects. For entertaining people, I'm showing you and then some insects in my collection. Sometimes I'm showing collection just inside boxes, like that. Yes. These are not hornets, these are stag beetles. Lucanocerus of family Lucanidae. Lucanocerus. The species under the protection, little bit, because not so common, even in Ukrainian oak forests. Because the larvae are developing under the bark of trees, under the fallen trunks of trees, especially on oak. And all forestry plantations are usually very sophisticatedly cleaned. Right. If somebody have seen hornets, like this one, write in comments if you have seen hornets in your area near you. Bluebirds is saying that have seen stag beetles habitat near her place. Larvae of stag beetles are developing on decaying wood, on just slowly destroying wood, not on living wood. So this one. But they can appear even in our big city of Kyiv, but in the late August time, in the late summer. Now we're still sitting somewhere underground in the form of pupa, in this pupal stage. But now it's already time for hatching some rhinoceros beetles from the decaying wood. And rhinoceros beetles sometimes coming on the streets and just crawling on asphalt road, even near my apartment building. But these weeks were pretty cold. Even 2 days ago it was +7 daytime. Little bit cold, very cold for insects. So insects were not flying, were not crawling, we were just waiting for warm temperature, for warm changes. And still today it was raining, it was already 12 Celsius degree. Next week we are expecting, according to weather forecast, maybe 2021. So weather is going to be improved on the next week. Maybe some new insects will come and I can show you alive. Because I have collected one rhinoceros beetle 2 weeks ago, but this male is not already alive, by the way. Yes, right. Temperature in May is not so stable this May. Difficult to say about temperature in coming. Summertime will be hot, will be cold, or will be raining. Let's see. Thank you for interest, Blackbird. So I see the temperature is very flexible in different areas of Europe. If somebody is watching us from Europe, write what country are you watching us? What city are you watching us? If you are from Banbury, if you are from Oxford, maybe from Coventry or from Sheffield, write in comments what city are you watching us. Or maybe you're from USA, from Texas, or from California, and you're celebrating Day of Science from California on the sunny beach of California. state, and you're lucky to be over there to enjoy calm and peace place and a good salary and be together with Ukraine from California, saying, yes, I'm supporting Ukrainian science, I'm writing scientific papers in American journals, and I'm supporting Ukrainian science and Ukrainian entomology from California, or maybe from Washington State, or maybe from Portuguese states, or maybe from Azore Islands, walking around Azore Islands, looking under the microscope and say, I'm very global person, I'm for peace and for science, and no one will not change me because I'm just globalist. I do not worry about war because I'm just hidden somewhere in Azore Islands. Just if you know what I mean, about Azore Islands, about some people who came to Azore Islands to observe for some small tiny creatures, write in comments what do I mean. Thank you for supporting Bluebird. That's why I'm talking sometimes. Stand with Ukraine, stand with Ukrainian science, stand with Ukrainian military forces for liberation Ukraine from invaders, from bloody invaders from northern territories. You know, because some bloody invaders are expected not only from the west as a small Asian hornet, but some strange invaders came to Ukraine from the east, and you know what I mean. I'm pleased to show you not only this tiny box with hornets, but I repeat my entertaining with the nest of hornets. What do you mean? You say. Yes, the nest. The nest. Maybe you have a just countryside house in Ukraine, or just in another country. So you're going to the roof in your, upstairs in your house, and you can find sometimes the nest of hornet, or the nest of wasps. Actually, wasps are different. By the way, wasps can be social, and wasps can be solitary. Yes, Robin. Hello, Robin. Social wasps are coming to your screen, and I will show you Poland. Hello from Poland. Hornets larvae are really tasty. Who knows, I didn't try them. I tried Zophobos larvae only. I have been in China, I tried pupa of silk mouse, but I didn't try all the hornets. Some people say they taste like grapes. Hey, hello, Alex. Hello. Hello. What place are you coming from? And for example, I tasted pupa of silk mouse, Saturnia. So in China, and we were actually like yogurt. It's just like milky yogurt with smell and with smell of insects. Hello to Toronto. Yes, best greetings to Toronto. So say hello to Ukraine and support Ukraine. Stand with Ukraine and support Ukrainian science. Because I'm a scientist. I'm entomologist. I'm biologist. I'm celebrating today Day of Science in Ukraine. And I'm celebrating this science not from abroad. I'm celebrating it from Kyiv, capital of Ukraine. And I am going to show you just the nest of hornets. One Ukrainian beekeeper sent me this nest. I ordered because he found it actually inside empty beehive. He checked beehives in springtime. He has a YouTube channel. Apiary Help, his name. Pasika Help, YouTube channel. Hello, best greetings. So, and I said, send me this funny nest just for entertainment our audience, to show you the full nest, because usually I studied nest and I just dismounted nest. I will show you later how it looks like, because I deleted all adults and so I crashed the nest. But this nest is empty, with no larvae, with no adults, and it was cut just inside, was taken off, just empty beehive. And there are some foundations inside. Hello to Chernigov, best greetings. You see, this is a tiny foundations, but this is foundation of another species, paper wasp family, Vespidae as well, but not Vespa crabro. This big one is Vespa crabro, European hornet, but this one, Polistes. It's done also from cellulose, from paper. So some people asking questions, so I can read aloud. Do you think there is a future for artificially taming bugs through biotechnology like Neuralink? No, I do not believe in artificial insects. No, because it needs maybe 100 years to make artificial tiny bags for pollination. Despite that's just the development of technology. Technology can be rapidly developing now in IE and artificial intelligence, but not everywhere. Chernigov in touch. Hello and happy Science Day to you. Thank you very much to Chernigov. So we're celebrating Science Day in Ukraine, from Ukraine, not from California, not from Lisbon, not from Alicante, from somewhere in South Spain, not from Lyon in France, not from Spain, not from suffering scientists who are suffering somewhere in northern Italy, or south, just suffering scientists somewhere in England, and of course suffering with a very bad European salary somewhere in Germany. We're already suffering third year of this war, and we are not expected to come back. Who knows, maybe we are just forever wanted to be suffering over there, to have opportunity to get some scientific material in foreign, in European, I want to say, museums, and to study Europe, to study Asia, to study America, but not Ukraine, of course. Ukraine, we are standing with Ukraine, we support Ukrainian science. Everyone is saying it's like that. Yes, this is this tiny nest, Polistes dominulus, tiny one with stalk, very tiny one. You see the structure. This is a tiny nest of Polistes, original size. Just it was one piece and another one is just second nest. Well, yes, so I'm going to show you this nest, how it looks like. Hopefully it would not be crashed. Yes, you see. This nest is covered with paper, which is done by wasps, by hornets. Here usually there is a special stalk, which is attached to somewhere, but this was attached like that to flatten wall of beehive. And actually this is a very small nest. I say small nest because I collected nest much bigger. Inside there are some foundations which are done also from with the paper, and it's empty, you see here, nothing inside, because all adults just hatched, just emerged before winter, in somewhere in autumn time. So you see nobody inside. How many of these lawyers here? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. And here was attached. All right, you can see. 1 layer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 floors of this hornet nest. Have you ever seen hornet nest yourself? Write in comments, write in chat. Have you ever seen it? Maybe just in a museum. But have you seen it in nature, in native environment? In natural environment, possible to see small nest like that. This is just the beginning and the end of nest. This was attached like that to the down. So we attached several floors. Many times, bluebird is very observative, very careful, very devoted entomologist. I love it very much. Thank you for this nice comment. Many times. It sounds you're a devoted entomologist who likes to observe for insects, animals, birds, and nature. That's great. And you're my sponsor. Thank you very much. So, now in the beginning of, in the middle of spring, you can find, you can see, you can observe some hornets, but with small nests like that. Because now this is a beginning of colony. You can find the colony of small Asian hornet, of European hornet, just like a beginning. First couple cells are done by the queen, and then it's covered with a ball of paper. This is like this paper. This is a cover for the nest. Usually when it's like this size, it's already going to be covered inside paper ball for protection, because ball is done by the wasp, queen, and maybe and later by workers, and queen is just making it, mixing saliva with cellulose, which she's receiving from plants. All right. Our subscriber and sponsor is writing that I'm ornithologist for more than 25 years. And I'm in beginner entomology for a few years now. Early in my career, and it was more common to find hornet nests in old trees. Right, yes, in old trees, in a forest, in a park. Right, 3 years ago I found one nest of European hornet in a hollow tree just near my apartment in a city, just near the shop where I'm going regularly. But it was until the September and October, and they didn't survive in October. Some people put inside some sticks, and nest is going to be down and already not resisting during the autumn and winter time. In winter time, colony is dying. I collected some hornets, some workers, and I collected some males, drones of wasps on this from this nest. But I should be very careful. I use my big forceps to just trying to catch the worker. But they were very, very angry about me. I just visited this nest in autumn time, in September and October, when it's going to be already a little bit cold. In early daytime, when it was cold, just so all hornets were just a little bit not so active. So I tried to catch them by forceps, but workers were very active. They were going out of the nest and trying to search who is just disturbing us. So I was running. So you must be very careful about hornet nest, to observe and just to catch some individuals. But I caught some drones with forceps. But finally, when I came just for next observation, I found when some students, maybe from a nearby college, put a stick inside the hole in the tree. The stick was very long because they were just found the nest, because they were just buzzing, making a noise. They were very interested to what's going on. And the students put inside the stick, big one, and just escaped. So I took off the stick, don't pay attention, to avoid attention of other people. But nevertheless, just in autumn time, the nest is dying. Only all queens in autumn time. There are some in August time, in spring, in September time, September month. Only drones emerging and queens. After mating, queens are going to hibernate just alone out of their home nest. So that's why old nest is just dying. Remaining on the same place, hornets do not destroy them. If it is under the roof of your house or just inside the empty beehive like this one, you can find it and you can observe it, but without adults, without queens, without drones, because they're just escaping. Bluebird saying, I have been watching my video about insect collecting methods. They were really helpful. Could I ask for your video? Okay, ask your question or just ask. What do you want to ask? I'll ask you something about Malays trap and pan traps. What sort of questions do you want to know about Malays traps and pan traps? Pan traps we're using just empty, not empty, just plastic caps. Now we put them on the ground and fill with water and salt and with some detergent. This is a pan traps. I do not keep it near me. And Malays traps, this is a big like a tourist camp house, which is a little bit expensive for collecting. And also a big one is attracting too much attention of other people. You cannot put it usually near the people, because people can come to Malays traps and check what's going on inside. And Malays traps, insects are coming inside special box with alcohol, so insects dying inside alcohol. Like about details, where to place them, what kind of feeding for pan traps is the best. I can only visit them once a week. Okay, good questions indeed. We can use pan traps and we can use miracle plates or yellow plates. What liquid stores specimens after taking from them from pan traps? Pure alcohol or salt, some propylene glycol mix? Okay, good question as well. For collecting in pan traps, these are just caps like for coffee. For daily coffee, you can use plastic caps. Plastic caps you need to put inside the soil and fill with some liquid. Liquid for pan traps or for yellow pan traps. Yellow plates, which is called miracle. Sounds like Malay traps, but different. Plates. Plates is easier to use. Plates will collect some pollinators, will collect some bugs, grasshoppers, spiders, and some rubbish as well. What is about the liquid? Liquid should be, you can use the simplest liquid. Just clean water mixed with detergent. For 1 liter or liter and a half of water, mixed with tiny teaspoon of detergent or shampoo. Detergent for your kitchen or shampoo from your bathroom. With 1 teaspoon of detergent, 1 liter of water, and you can mix with big spoon of salt. Mix it at home and bring your several bottles with salted water and detergent to the field, or just you can use it near your house, in your check it somewhere in a park, fill it with water, with salt and with shampoo, some shampoo or just detergent, and wait for 1 day or 3 days, up to 4 days. If it will be too hot, water is evaporating, so 3 days can be usually the limit. For 1 week, I guess all water will be evaporated. The same, you can feel the plates, yellow plates, flattened yellow plates, with very flattened, just this depth or big one, with approximately maybe 40 milliliters or half of liter water. Fill water with shampoo, 1 teaspoon and 1 spoon of salt. So flatten, usually big plates, they keep water better, and insects are coming from different sizes. They're attracted by yellow plates, they're dropping down and they're just killed. But you can change it. If you want to make some experiments and you have no opportunity to visit yellow plates or how to say, or pen traps, caps for more than once in a week. You can fill it with other liquids. For example, you can fill it with glycerin, but glycerin is expensive. If you fill it just in a plate, you can put here just not many glycerin, like 1 centimeter, and put the plates nearby, maybe plates 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter between them. But in a cup, in a plastic cup like this, will fill with glycerin, but quite many of them. So glycerin little bit expensive. Water with salt and with detergent is the cheapest way. Yellow pen traps usually are put just on the ground, and they're collecting bees, wasps, grasshoppers, beetles, spiders. Sometimes some snails are coming. Some snails coming and making just a big trouble, making dust. So you need to take off some snails because they're disturbing and they're just destroying material. Sometimes many flies, big flies come in. So if you do not need big flies like that, you can take them off and to just keep only necessary material which you do like. Propylene glycol, I'm not sure, but propylene glycol, this is a kind of alcohol. This is ethanol, but propylene glycol is not good for storage, for the storage. You better to use glycerin. Glycerin is not evaporating. Propylene glycol is evaporating very quickly from the plate, from yellow plates. But glycerin is not evaporating for a long time. 1 week or maybe more, up to 10 days, glycerin will not be evaporating because it's just like a very special glue with very low level of evaporation. And also, Chalcids wasps, yes, many parasitic wasps will be attracted. Ichneumoniid wasps will be attracted. This big one will not be attracted maybe, because they're quite rare. But smaller size ichneumoniid parasitic wasps are coming very much. Many in a good number, because usually if you put yellow plate just near the plant, near the grasses, near flowers, so all insects just gathering near the plant, and they see yellow pen trap, and they're coming down. They're attracted by this very bright light of yellow pen trap, so they just die. But after collecting, you need to collect them in a tiny net, aquarium net for tiny insects with very, very small, with very, very tough mesh, just for tiny insects. So the smallest will not be penetrating through the mesh. You can collect them all together inside the net, tiny net like this, aquarium net. And then bring it to home or to laboratory, clean it from water with salt, with shampoo, yes, to clean it. Because otherwise, if you do not clean, all insects will be covered with white color, with white substance, with salt. If you put them just again to alcohol. So that's why you brought them just to laboratory inside the net, small one, sometimes. No, I will not be going for the nest. My tiny net is here. Not nearby. So, you need to clean them under the fresh water, not salted water, from the detergent, cleaning from salt, and then you put it to alcohol. Alcohol can be 70% alcohol, clean alcohol, not propylene glycol, not propylene glycol. Ethanol, the best way to ethanol, because if you can take them from propylene glycol, then it can be mixed with ethanol, and they're making kind of tiny spots like oil. Propylene glycol is more oily than ethanol, so that's why if you can wash them later in some samples, these tiny dots will be just crowding around your sample, so you can be watching for insects like inside ethanol with oil. But glycerin is just dissolved in water and in ethanol, but propylene glycol is not dissolved. Maybe propylene glycol is cheaper than ethanol, I guess so. So that's why you better to put them in ethanol, 70% ethanol and 90% ethanol or 96, because if you put big amount of insects like that inside the net, so the water will be mixed with your ethanol, and the gradation, the level of ethanol will be decreased. So that's why it will be in your jar can be 90% ethanol, but inside the jar with insects will be much lower, maybe 70% ethanol. But it's just good enough for conservation. So that's why better to use stronger ethanol for conservation of insects. Yes, initially you need to clean them to have pure material, to have clean material, and then put them inside jars, small jars, just 250 milligram or plastic or glass jars, and fill them with ethanol, 70% ethanol or 90% ethanol. Bees will not be discolored in ethanol mixture, but better to keep these samples in a dark place. They will be discolored if you put them just near the sunshine or near the window. If you put them in just on shelves in somewhere, just in your table, just in a shadow, without direct sunlight, color will not be changed. From ethanol it's easier to pin some of them, especially beetles. To pin tiny insects or bees more difficult, because usually entomologists and scientists using different equipment to dry insects. This is special drying machine. Yes, of course. If you collected insects inside ethanol, inside alcohol, they are very hairy, very hairy. Even small insects. Usually I use insects from ethanol and making microscopic slides, just on glass slides, for microscopic study. Or I need to dry them in special vacuum machine. So in vacuum machine, it's special machine which making vacuum, and hairs will be just spread off and like natural hairs. But this machine is usually very expensive and can be available only in a big university laboratory. So drying technique a little bit difficult for amateurs, because to dry, for example, hairy bee or dry hairy bumblebee at home, it can be a big problem, because usually this machine is not expensive, very expensive. Yes, usually only for university laboratory, not for hobbies. But if you keep your samples in jars, in ethanol, to confirm some identification, you can send your ethanol samples to university laboratory for some confirmation. Not dried material, but with label inside glass tubes or inside plastic tubes with label. So you don't, for example, like this. Small insects can be in small samples, small tubes, and bigger insects can be in a bigger size tubes with caps, for sure. And usually if they are small, you can put them again inside a glass jar filled with ethanol to avoid evaporation. Because otherwise, if you keep them just for 1 or 3 years, sometimes level of alcohol will be decreased and insects will dry. So that's why it's important to put them inside big glass jar and fill the jar with ethanol. But I don't know homemade techniques to dry bumblebees or to dry bees, because you need to use some kind of liquids which can be quickly evaporated. And these liquids can be evaporated either during heating or during freezing of material. For example, you put here some hairy insects in a glass jar, in a plastic jar, and you freeze it together with liquid and put it inside a freezer. And inside freezer, this liquid is evaporating slowly. So slowly evaporation will mean slow evaporation from which allow to these insects to save the natural volume. So insects will not be shrinked so quickly. Slow evaporation can be done in natural condition in freezer very slowly. That's why in this method is used in a big machine where it's done. This liquid is put in the freezer under the pressure, and this heating and these tiny insects are just heating slowly. The machine is just taking off this liquid very quickly, maybe 15 minutes for sample. So and sample is just slowly drying. Liquid is just very quickly evaporating, being frozen, because this is just on the point of zero or point of between freeze and liquid. Liquid is evaporating, and insects will save the same hairs as natural creature. So, but it can be possible only in very sophisticatedly done in a special machine, not homemade. let's talk about hornets, by the way. Because I was talking about collecting techniques, but finally I go to show you not only collection, but also to show you the big nest. I open very carefully this jar with this container with so you see here, this is a nest of European hornet. This is upper side, which was attached to the roof. There are several foundations, several floors beneath. Number 2. Number 3. And small number 4. And all of them were covered with paper. So this is a nest which I dismounted. They were attached all together. And this is a nest of European hornet. So you see here, upper side with special stalks attached to the roof. And here a lot of cells. And you see here a lot of pupa, white pupa, a lot of cocoons, white cocoons which contain pupa, and empty cells which contain larvae. Here, for example. Why some of them just empty or some are not empty? Because here were cocoons with pupa before emergence. But when I collected them, I changed the natural conditions of temperature, and I didn't hatch. So all of this here hatched, and here hatched adults, and here all pupae died inside cocoons. So that's why cocoons are not empty, and you can hear them very like seeds inside. And here I used scissors and used forceps to take off cocoons, to take off some larvae and pupae. Hello Javad. Hello Javad. Greetings to Azerbaijan. Can you listen? So a lot of pupae still inside. But I need to close very carefully the container, because some insects can come inside and can destroy all this collection. Because smell of insects attracting different dermistidae, beetles, to eat it. Hello. Is somebody new coming to our stream? Welcome to our stream. Today we are talking about hornets. And this is a hornet nest. Dismounted for sure. This is a nest of European hornet Vespa crabro. Yes. And this one, smaller nest, I collected from underground. This one, Vespa crabro, was beneath the roof in a house. I collected it in a house. And this one was just underground. underground near some beehives, just in empty place underground. So color is changed. There was not many insects inside. Already old nest. Old, but also covered with paper. That's all the speedy doing. So this is Vespula crabro. Vespula germanica, sorry. This is Vespa crabro, B1. Vespa crabro. And this Vespula germanica. If you receive some insects and you found that your insects damaged by dermestid beetles, you need to avoid them. You need to put either some poisons inside to kill, like some oils, lavender oils or other oils, to use some sprays of insecticides around inside the container, or you can put container together with your insects inside big freezer, freezing insects infested by dermestid beetles for 2-3 days can be enough to kill larvae of beetles. Dermestid beetle pests of collection. Pests of collection are very annoying, irritating, and dangerous because you have collected something, you have pinned them, you can store them. Butterflies, beetles, bees, wasps, and these bloody, sorry about it, these bloody dermestid beetles come in, penetrating your container, even through very small crevices in container. Eat it and destroying just nothing, practically nothing. That's why you must be careful either to use insecticides or to use freezer to treat infested collections under the -20, -30 for 2-3 days, or maybe even 1 week. And container with all this stuff must be carefully closed. Like this container I close with cotton, because if I put it without this stuff, you see here, I close all this very carefully. Don't allow it to have any small crevices, because dermestid beetles can crawl inside through very, very tiny crevices. Can find a way to how to go inside container very easily. You cannot see how we penetrate it. And if I have collection of insects, I need to use scotch to close collection very carefully to avoid infestation as well. Otherwise, here will be very small hollows and tiny larvae will penetrate it. Not the big beetles. Big beetle can be 2 millimeter size, will not come inside, but tiny larvae will penetrate all these tiny holes. But if you cover with scotch, hopefully, we can say hopefully, these pests like dermestid will not come and do not infest and do not destroy your collection. So that's why it's quite important, really. Yes, and some dermestid can destroy also birds' fevers. That's true. But usually birds' fevers can be sprayed with some insecticides or with some chemicals. Must be sprayed regularly or from time to time to avoid this strange infestation. Or just there is a special technique how to keep birds' fevers with special chemicals which avoid dermestid infestation. Timol is also effective, but Timol is a little bit smelling very not comfortably. Timol is also dangerous for health. Insecticide can be evaporated briefly, but Timol can evaporate slowly for a long time. So Timol is dangerous for human health. You keep your containers, your boxes near your living room, Timol will be very smelly. Smell of Timol is very strange, very dangerous. Someone is coming to us, maybe trolling us. Write other comments. If someone is coming to our stream from abroad, from not only from Ukraine, write what country are you coming from, where are you from, where are you watching us. Finally, I can show you. Okay, scent of Timol is more or less okay, but it's dangerous for health. Here I have some insects of Vespa mandarina, which is bigger than Vespa crabra. Vespa mandarina is a bigger one, but has a special shape of head, and Vespa mandarina is not in Ukraine now, not in Europe. But Vespa mandarina has been introduced to the United States. Maybe it was eradicated, but who knows? We're not quite sure about it. Vespa velutina also has been, this species Vespa velutina has been accidentally introduced to state of Washington, the western part of United States, just between Canada and the United States, near Vancouver. Hopefully Vespa velutina also has been eradicated from 2 years ago. This is Vespa mandarina, the biggest hornet, Vespa mandarina, also from Southeast Asia. Yes, and I was talking about solitary wasps. So I can show you some solitary wasps like Megascolia, because here, close one, here were queens of Vespa crabra, European hornet, and here these are males of mammoth wasp, Megascolia maculata. This is Megascolia queen, Megascolia female. We cannot say queen because she is solitary wasp, so she is just female, not a queen. Megascolia maculata, she is parasitic wasp hunting for rhinoceros beetle. And here with black head and smaller size, these are males. These are males of mammoth wasp, Megascolia maculata. And here, of course, these are honeybees and tiny leaf-cutting bees as well. Leaf-cutter or family Megachilidae. But this is a family Scoliidae. This is Xylocopa, carpenter bee. Very nice, violent. Very nice black blue color. Here on screen just black. So this one, female of Megascolia maculata, and here are males of Megascolia maculata. And as I said, I use scotch to close all crevices here. It's important, don't allow to penetrate. Xylocopa valga. Yeah, I have not seen yet. But it's time for the images, right? So these are small representatives of Hymenoptera aculeata, and here Hymenoptera parasitica. But I'm studying tiny parasitic Chalcid wasps, and they're here. These are tiny parasitic wasps, Chalcid wasps. If I use yellow pen traps and or American traps, I'm collecting them either inside yellow pen traps and then store them in alcohol, or I collect them by the method of rearing, breeding them, rearing from host material, because parasitoids like this one, very tiny, usually quite rare, and the most important, most interesting for them to get more information about biology of these tiny wasps. This Aphelinidae, Torimidae, Encertidae, Eulophidae, Trichogrammatidae, and others Chalcid wasps. Now we can say how many species. It depends from family to family. Now number of previous taxonomy, it was 19 families of Chalcid wasps, but now the number of families increased maybe up to 30 families. So at least 30 families, everyone can include from 100 species to up to 1,000 species. So I guess maybe 30,000 species of Chalcid wasp can be found in Ukraine and neighboring countries of Europe. Quite a lot. Thank you for interest and curiosity. Thank you for coming to our stream. Hopefully to show you something strange next time. I'm trying to be careful, don't miss my boxes. Today we have been talking about methods of collecting with bluebird. We have been talking about a little bit about hornets, about wasps. We have seen some nests of hornets. So if you can find some strange hornets in your country, you can take photo of these hornets and you can collect some specimens either in Ukraine or neighboring countries. You can send your specimens to our laboratory in Kyiv, capital of Ukraine, to Institute of Zoology for identification or for confirmation of identification. You can collect something like this insects in Ukraine, or you can suspect that you have collected Vespa velutina, take photo, take specimens, dry or in ethanol, send it to Institute of Zoology of National Academy of Sciences, Kyiv, Ukraine, and we can check who was that in your city, in your state, in your village, or just in your apiary if you collected it near apiary. So remember, this is invasive species Vespa velutina nigrothorax, species which has not been yet discovered and not found in Ukraine, not found in Poland, but has been found already in France, in Spain, Italy, Belgium, England, and half Germany is covered with territory with Vespa velutina. Who knows? Maybe more. Every year this species has the ability to spread very quickly, up to 100 kilometers, flying away from the territory of native distribution. 100 kilometers, 90 or 100 kilometers is quite a lot. But with human being help, with some luggage, with some cars, some transportation system, with airplanes, this species can come to any place of the world, any place in Europe or America, Africa and Australia. So, because it's already came to United States. How? With shipment, with ships, with some shipped materials, maybe on board of some ships, who knows, nobody knows, just suggestion, it can be coming with ships from Southeast Asia. We've loaded some containers on ships, and queens can survive for several months just sleeping in diapause and can come from one continent to another continent. So be careful about insects. Don't allow hornets sting you. Don't be afraid. If you are careful, they are not stinging. If you are too curious, if you are coming to the nest, be careful to make management with nest and invite specialists of wasp hunters, beekeepers hunters to manage nests of hornets if you need to destroy them near your apiary or near your house, near your apartment. Don't do it yourself. Ask for help of specialists. Thank you for coming to our stream. Thank you for interest and curiosity. Don't forget, today it was Day of Science in Ukraine, Day of Scientists in Ukraine. So that's why we celebrated the Day of Science with this stream. And don't forget to say, stand with Ukraine, support Ukraine, help Ukraine, and Ukraine forever. Thank you for coming. Looking forward to see you. Subscribe on my channel. And if you are coming as a sponsor, you're welcome to be sponsor of my channel. Your sponsorship is greatly appreciated. Thank you for coming. Good luck. See you soon. And write your questions under this video. Bye bye. Good luck.